Thank you, thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. The first time that I heard about SecT, it was a Security Fest 2 years ago, I think. So it's really nice to be here. I'm Ignacio Navarro. I'm 27. I'm from Cordoba, Argentina, quite a long flight to here. I work on application security in an insurance company, and also I do some ethical hacking stuff. That's my Twitter, my LinkedIn, my something, if you have any question or something, but I think we're going to have enough time. But the timer is not running, so I don't know how many time we have. Also, as a fun fact, I love sneakers. I have my sewing machine. I make some clothes like pants, hoodies, bags, hats. It's like my hobby, and I use for the stress and that shit. Today, we're going to see a little introduction about what's ethical hacking, responsibility disclosure, some tales that I did, some hacks that I did in January, February of this year. The tools, just a little overview about the tools, the type of disclosures, the impact that had those disclosures in the companies, in the people and the staff, and a little ending about it. And just in case if you were wondering what's going on about the name, it is. So, a little disclaimer. The stuff who I'm going to show is how I do the disclaimer, how my friends do the disclaimer. It's not just one reality. And maybe some stuff are not completely legal, so don't do the stuff at your home. Take care of that stuff, because the law here in Sweden is different. So we can start right now. And the timer is not working yet. What is ethical hacking? There's a multiple definition about what it is. For example, Richard Stallman say that it's something that feeling that is right and what's wrong. ABM side is making stuff friendly for the companies and try to fix the security from another perspective. Kevin Mitnick says maybe it's about the authorization, because doing the hacking and ethical hacking is depending if you had the right access to do the stuff. Also, I'm reading this book. It's a really nice one, The Art of Exploitation, from John Erickson, and say that it's try to understand security as an art and try to fix the stuff. But there's a lot of different beef on Twitter right now, because if you say, no, I do ethical hacking, no, I'm a black hat, I do that stuff. So you cannot have one sentence is right, because you have another person on the other side say, so you are hating ethical hacking. So it's quite complicated to be polite right now with that stuff. So maybe it's just hacking and that stuff. The tales, the gossip, that's why everyone are here right now. Some of you maybe came to the lightning talk yesterday. It was quite late, so if you didn't, it's OK. I have a little summary for you. If you want to watch the whole talk, there is the talk post on GitHub, on YouTube from different channels. Also, there's in my GitHub repository is the slides and all the stuff. But basically, there was an Argentinian company who had more than 2,000 installations in more than 70 countries. Those are in charge for the electronic payment system for the arcades, amusement park, bowlings. They have like a debit card where you can fund with some money. And it was everything broken, basically. You have access to all the users, charge some money, get all the cars, earn the same price multiple times because they have some race conditions around. But I have the update for that stuff. After I sent so many emails, because I just found it just one random Sunday at my home, I sent so many emails and no one replied. When I presented the talk in a conference in Colombia, as I told you yesterday, I had an in-person meeting with the CTO of the company. And he told me, hey, I don't give a shit what are you doing, but my CEO is not liking that you are presenting these vulnerabilities around the world. So we want to work with you. That's perfect. We're going to say, OK, I'm doing this stuff for free, but if you want to give me some money, it's OK. I wrote the 2 reports. I sent them. But no one answered after that shit. I mean, I spent my whole time writing those reports. But that's the life, I think. But I say, OK, it's fine. Don't worry. I presented the talk on Belgium and Brucon in September. I don't know why. They started to fix some different stuff. I say, OK, I don't give a fuck. If you want to continue fixing, it's OK. But they never replied to me. They never talked to me again. But when I was writing this talk, I found that they have a new feature Now they have a contactless payment with QR code. Basically, you have an account that you can fund with real money and use it, but not just in our case, in other places, and also in the vending machines. I say, OK, I don't want to hack them again because it's getting personal, maybe. So I opened the link to it to see what's going on with that website. And the first time that I saw was the certificate was expired. And I say, OK, maybe chill. I did a little go buster over there, and they were exposing all the Git code. So I cloned it, just to see, obviously. And they were exposing a bunch of API key, API secrets, some private certificate too. They were the same stuff as always. But when I came back to the website, they say, OK, it improves some different benefits to the operator, you have boosting revenue, and they never talk about security, so at least they were right. So, another tale for you. It was just a random Sunday. I was sitting in my ergonomic chair, and I found that there was a supermarket around my city, and they have this login portal for the customer where you can, it's like a loyalty program. I logged in, and they have an endpoint where you can get your car, so you can basically get your ID and that stuff, your name, so there's not much data. But it was just an integer over there, so you can start to check some different numbers, some IDORs. Basically, the IDOR is when you try to get different access to different objects, just getting a random number. For example, you start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you were trying the different one until you have a lot of 200 OK code. So you get all the car numbers, all the name of the people, but that's just that stuff. So I say, I need more data. That's only the 3 parts where I use Britney Spears reference, and that's it. Because when I started talking, I thought it was a good idea, but there was not so many Britney Spears songs talking about cybersecurity. I don't know why. So I continued searching a little bit more, and I found they have exposed the road queue. It was great. It was secure, no vulnerabilities at least. But they were exposing the error logs. I continued reading, and there was a lot of logs from 2021, but all of them came from the local host, so there is nothing that we can do over there. But there's a header, X4Water4. It came from a public IP. It always was the same IP, so I did a little nmap over there, and they were exposing the port 80. It was the old employment portal, so the registration was enabled, so I were able to create my account. And it was me after I found this. So when I created the user, that didn't have any permission. So when I tried to do some different actions, I get this image that is in Spanish. It would say, hey, you don't have access to this stuff because you are not administrator. So it was super sad at that moment. So I need to get some lucky. So I did another scan, but with those cookies, with the session cookie. And they have a lot of different exposed stuff, too. For example, this one, where you can see all the connected users at the server and all of them IP. And the last one is me, the test. You know it? Yes, over PHP and that stuff. But, OK, and I found that they have a text editor over there. So basically, you can create different nodes. And when you save it, you get an ID. It was a numeric ID, sequential ID. Don't have any validation over there. So you can start to check all the different nodes that they have. And for example, you can find some different credentials for the routers from the DVR. And they had a WordPress, because the new employment portal used WordPress. And the credentials were hard code over there, too, so you can get access to administrative access to the WordPress. Also, they have FTP server with the credential, the ID, the password, the server, so you can log it into the account and see all the files. More credentials. They have an SSH credential with root permission, too. But remember the first IP that I showed you, who had a lot of different ports? They have a MySQL with the read-write access. So you can get all the employee data, all the customers' data, all the cars, all the payments, everything that they do. But also, you have access to all the prices, so you can just change the prices and get some free stuff. It would be good to get some free beer or something. Tickets company. I was in my chair too, and I received a message from my cousin. I say, hey, me and my boyfriend are going to go to some party, techno party, like rave. But I'm from Cordoba, and the rave is good, but we have more popular music in Cordoba. There are two things that we love in Cordoba, Fernet and Quartet. Fernet with Coke, that tastes awesome. With some Coca-Cola. It tastes like a medicine, but it's cool, it's good. And music, Cuarteto, if you had the chance, that guy is one of the best musicians from Cordoba. It's super local stuff, but it's really good. Look that jacket, so. Well, say, no, but the rave is going to be like in a lake, so it's really nice stuff. And I say, okay, I want to go there. So I bought the ticket. Guess what happened over there? There was another idol for the users, so you can get access to all the users, the email, last name, the phone, the birthday, some pictures too. So, well, that's okay. But I tried different methods, so I tried the put one, and I can change the email without any token. With my token, I can change all the different users. But I can change the permissions. But if I can change the email, I can change the email for the administration account because it was the ID number 1, obviously. So I changed the email, and I reset the password, and now we had the admin account for all the different for all the sales. Get all the tickets, create new one for free, change the ticket, see all the money that they made with that concert. So I'm starting to like techno right now. But it wasn't just techno, because it was software as a service. So they bought the service to another company. So I went to the big one and say, okay, no, we have more than 20,000 event held per year. We have more than 1 million users. So it was a really, really big shit and money. After all this stuff, I want to show you how I report the stuff and the feedback. About the transportation company, idols. I bought the ticket, you can get all the orders, access to all the bookings, change the name and that stuff. But what about some free rides? When you generate the booking, it talks with the payment platform and asks for a token and say, okay, this one is your ID, this one is your token. So now when you send the payment, it talks with the payment platform and say, okay, I'm this order, this one is the data, and this one is the order status. But there's no validation about the amount of the money. So when you send the post, you can see there's a place where it says transaction amount at the post. So what happens if we just change the transaction amount and that's it? So if we delete the 50,000 for just 5, the payment is approved, we generate our ticket, and if we check our bank account, it's just 1 cent. And that happened with all the rides and that stuff. And I think this one is the most chill and gossip around this stuff. There is a company who provides some different loyalty program for, airplanes and that stuff. So I was doing some pen testing. It was legal pen testing. And I found a lot of log with the credentials, some ES file with the request data and settings. And there was a lot of different comments that say, this is not working. They have a special endpoint who they call for the Ajax, and it was WS consume. And they send a post and say, let's figure out what's going on with this endpoint. Basically, the front talk with this endpoint and ask, hey, this ID number exists or not exists? And that returns some data. After that one, the front end asks for an encrypted password, sending the plain one, get the password encrypted, and it's talking again with the WS consume, and getting the credential and that stuff, the token session and that stuff. But when you send the pre-login, the checking if that user exists or not, you get a lot of different data. But the most important one is that one. It's like a base 64 with some stuff in the middle. So it was similar. It was similar that when you when you ask for an encrypted password. So I send the login with that data, and that's it. I didn't know the password, just have that string, and it worked. I mean, basically, you can bypass the encrypted stuff, asking for the data user, and that's it. So I report this stuff to this. I was in a meeting, because after 3 weeks, I report the stuff and say, no, those are all the endpoint. That didn't work. It's just all stuff that is not working anymore. But I was in a meeting because our company were using that system. It was a meeting with the CTO and some developers. So I say, OK, if you say that this is not working, let me show you a POC. So I found the ID of the CTO over the internet, and I logged in into his account. And when I started to watch the purchase history, he had like some thousand per month just in gift card. So it was a little bit weird. They're doing some fraud or something over there. And when I showed the stuff, he opened the eyes like this big, and they fixed it in 3 days or something like that. So I think he's still working there, so it's OK. About the essential, just a super fast overview about this stuff, because there's a lot of different tools. I do more web application security, so you can do some Nmap, some DNS unknown for the domains, Go Buster, DNS dumper, some Nuclei, Nicto for check the technologies. Though I have the links over there. I'm going to post the slides on GitHub maybe later. Or you can grab from video. You can use, I used to be using Burp, but now I switched to Kaido because it's more fast, I think. About the discovery, you can use Go, way more dear search, Git dumper if you have some .git exposed, like the first story. And the common mistake that we can have about the stuff is playing as this one is a test environment, but it is not. It's a real company. It's a production server. So if you're using the stuff, don't play a lot with the data. And if you post some backdoor or something, delete the stuff after the pen testing. After that, you report the stuff. About the outage, maybe it's hosted in AWS and everything is OK, but maybe it's a shitty server and somehow, so don't exploit the stuff. And the legal mistakes. Because maybe you don't want to get some money from that stuff, but they don't know that you want or not get some money or just fuck them and that's it. So there's not so much stuff to do about stuff. Just take care and don't do that type of things. About the disclosure, there's a multiple type. You have full disclosure when you go to the public network and post all the shit and go fuck. You have some private stuff when you report directly to the company, and that's it. Some responsible is like when there's no other people, just you, and say, OK, we're going to fix the stuff in this amount this month, and after, if you don't fix it, I'm going to go public, and that's it. You have coordinated when there is some companies involved in the middle or some governments. And there is bug bounty and vulnerability disclosure program, but I don't like that stuff. But it's OK. I mean, there's a lot of different companies that they are running the stuff today, so it's OK. It's like a safety way to present the stuff too. But as I told you at the beginning, maybe you like it, maybe you don't like it. Maybe I don't like the bounty. I prefer more just go public, so it's your life. So you can do whatever you want. I'm not your dad, I think. Coordinated disclosure. It will be running by third-party company. Also, they have from the government. In Belgium, they have a really nice program over there. Netherlands have another one too. In Latin America, I think the only one who has some law about this stuff is Chile. It could change because in some cases, for example, in Belgium, you can present the stuff, but you need to be a citizen from there. You cannot be from foreign or something. I don't know what about Netherlands, but I were asking about here, and they told me that there's nothing here in Sweden. You have some laws from the European Union, but nothing local. And also, you have some coordinated disclosure program run by different companies, like Zero Day Initiative, SSC Disclosure. But I mean, I've not recommend any of those, so take care, because maybe it's a coordinated disclosure company, and then it's exploit broker or something like that. Who knows? Just take care with that shit. The importance is to keep the data safe, the same stuff that you can read in each place. Keep the data safe, grow the security community, improve the communication between the hackers and the companies so they can start to watch the people like the hacker with a person with the black hoodie in the middle of the basement or something like that. And how to report the stuff to the companies. In my case is not the only way. I keep it simple. I say, hey, I found this. I found some email from LinkedIn or some web page, and say, hey, I found this. I'm Ignacio Navarro. This one is my GitHub account, my LinkedIn. I do this stuff for free. I don't want your money. I don't want to leak your stuff. I just want to tell the stuff because I'm using this service, or my family uses this service, and want to keep it clean. And if you need some help, just let me know, and we're going to work it. And what about some friends? I asked some friends before came here about how they do the disclosures. So Il Mago is he's in the bug bounty community in Argentina. He's one of the leads of the bug bounty Argentina. And he say, that's in Spanish, so I hope that you can read in Spanish. But that say, hey, I just do bug bounty. I'm not so much into the disclosure and that stuff. I'm not active searching for some stuff. If I found something, I report to the person if I know the people or something. In this case, I present the talk in NorthSec in Canada. It's a really good conference, and also they have a really nice CTF if you like to play that stuff. And he sent me a text because he found that it was exposing the Git from NorthSec call for paper system. So I sent the stuff to the organization, and they fixed it immediately, gave him some swag and that stuff. Also, Mauro Heldrich, another guy from Argentina, Uruguay. I don't know why. He's born in Argentina, but he's living in Uruguay right now. But he's my friend. We went together to some different conferences. We went to South Korea last year. He's a FreeBSD maintainer. He basically does some private disclosure due to the companies, but there are some cases that he sent a lot of different emails, and they don't want to fix the stuff because it's not a feature. It's not a bug, it's a feature. So he went public. He has some public disclosure on the GitHub, and also he found some CVAs. But if you're reporting that kind of stuff, be chilling, because maybe it's not a vulnerability. I mean, for example, this one is a screenshot from the Debian FTP. Because maybe some people found that there's an index of header, and they start to report that stuff, and it's just a public repository, and that's it. So chill with that stuff. So be chilling. About the impact, there's some feedback from the companies, if there is a feedback. Maybe in some cases there's no feedback, and you send all the shit and you don't get anything about it. It happens several times, so don't get frustrated if that happens, because it's just the normal way. I mean, if you report 10 stuff, maybe 9, you don't get any feedback from them. But in some cases, you can get some feedback, and also they can ask for a different pen test and the stuff. For example, this one is the one from the ticket platform. I report the stuff, they reply to me immediately, and they say, hey, we are a small company, because that's the reality too. Maybe it's not a really big company with security analysts or something. So they ask for some pen testing, some courses, and that's it. So that's cool. About the personal growth, I didn't know what I should say here, because when I try to write the stuff, it feels like more like a crypto bro who are trying to sell some stuff, like personal growth, man, and all the shit. But it is cool, it is cool. So I just say, you can learn a lot of different stuff from doing the stuff, testing in a real environment. So it is great, and also you can present the talk like this one, and meeting really nice people. So don't do everything for the money. For the ending, we're okay with time. I think, what time is it? Okay. A super important data, this year is the 25th anniversary of Oops, I Did That Again. So that's the reason too. But it wasn't planned. I mean, I didn't talk with Brini to tell, hey, I'm going to polish this shit. The conclusions are, go hack some stuff. Just be there playing, take care, but be there playing. Be patient, because you don't want to get a lot of information about the conference too. The tech is good, but go touch some grass. I mean, I'm talking about grass, but I think this type of event is really good for the people, and get a really nice community over here, meeting new people and that stuff. As I told you at the beginning, the image of the hacker at the basement with the black hoodie and that stuff is not the real version of us. I mean, it is good for the mental. No? No, I think that everything is good. I know sometimes it could be kind of complicated, be talking with other person and that stuff, but just be chilling. I mean, the mental health, I think, is more important than all the vulnerabilities that you can find. And if you found something, or something reports something to you, pay a little bit of attention. Don't be an asshole. We don't want your money. Just want to report the stuff and fix this shit because there's some people later around. And that's all, people. Thank you so much.
Thanks. So if you've got questions, I've got a couple of mics here. Put your hands up. And I'm sure Ignacio will answer your questions in the funniest way possible.
I try.
So, Ignacio, my question is the following, because I also used to do gray hatting in the past. How do you manage to sleep at night knowing how you don't know how the other people are going to take your reports? And more importantly, how can you open the door when somebody knocks on the door?
I try to have my door with 2 locks. But about the first one, you never know how the people are going to react about the stuff. I mean, I can say that shit, I think. When I started uni in 2016, I was studying for like a year and a half, and I got banned from the uni for 6 months because I get into the system. But it was in a bad way. I mean, I was just chilling around, found some SQLA, I report the stuff, but they didn't like that some chill found some vulnerability in your system that you're working for like 20 years. So some people are kind of asshole about the stuff, but I think the first time that if they catch you, you need to say stuff, hey, I don't want to get your money, I don't want to fuck your system, I just want to report the stuff because it's my data too that is into that database. And I found the stuff and I reported the thing, but maybe someone found the stuff before that I did, and he exploited that stuff. And I left the uni after that shit. But that's the way.
Thank you for the presentation. Could you tell me what is the best and the worst answers you received on your report?
The best what?
Answers that you have received after reporting vulnerabilities.
And no, the best I think are those when they are asking for more data or they want to help the stuff. But I think those are the best cases. I mean, those are some of them, but I report some public university too, and they really fix it. They say, thank you, if you want to come to visit the office, you can come. But I think that's the best. And the worst, I think, was, I don't know, the uni maybe? But yeah, I think that I had the lucky that I never got some low problems in Argentina. They take stuff with some care, but
please.
Thank you for the presentation. My question is about the laws. How do you navigate that? Do you have someone helping you on this, advising you, or do you just pray?
No, I'm just flowing around. I don't pay a lot of attention. And also, the arcade stuff, they weren't using the system in Vegas, and in US, maybe they are interesting person when they catch some stuff. So if I get banned from, I don't know, they block my IP, I say, no, maybe I'll stop, I focus on other thing, and that's it. But no, I don't have anything that could help me with the low way.
Hey, so you say that you tend to ethically hack a lot of the services that you use. Have you ever been banned from the services after you disclose? Or do you have a method of hiding your membership?
Yeah, when I was testing the ticket system, they banned my account, so I used a proxy because as I do this stuff for free, I use my IP and that's it. Because when they have some problem or something, they say, hey, I report this stuff to you. This one is my IP. If you want to check your logs, if you have logs, you can check the IP and that's it. But I don't want to hide that stuff, so. Yeah, I get banned and I change my IP and that's it. Or also you can use the neighbor Wi-Fi.
Do we have any? It's all been from this side of the room. Is anyone on this side of the room? There we go. This young lady here.
You mentioned a couple of, thank you for the presentation again. So, you mentioned a couple of, times that you were like, I couldn't get in. So when you get stuck, how do you motivate yourself or how do you find your way around?
Well, when I get stuck, I usually leave all the stuff and I go for a walk. I start to solving some different things. But I think that's tough because as a pen tester, like in a normal job, maybe you just have a week that you found 5 critical stuff. But then you have some week that you don't find anything. So just take it chill and chilling. You can ask twice.
So my question is the following. Have you ever considered timing your vulnerability reports appropriately? Like, I don't know, maybe trying to see what happens if you send it on Monday at 8 in the morning, or even better, Friday just before the end of the business day, like 1 minute before the company closes?
During the weekends, but the time, just chilling, but during the weekend. Because at the week I try to work. I try.
Let's see. Do we have any more questions?
I can throw in one.
Go on then.
Do you live in Burp browser when you do your everyday life, or how do you stumble upon this, or do you just get curious when you go for a booking flow or something?
I try to leave it open and try to check. I mean, if I need to do some stuff, I say, just for a curious way, say, let's see the request that this page are sending, because just to know where my data is going and how bad is the system.
Very good. I mean, one thing just to note here is that most of these are in Argentina.
Yeah.
They were all in Argentina, or mostly in Argentina?
All Argentina. No, I think all Argentina.
Yeah. Okay. So
they don't care about security in Argentina.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, so Argentina is really interesting because it's got laws that are fairly weak, and law enforcement is weaker, I think.
Yeah, and also it's weird because there's a bunch of companies who prefer hire developers from Argentina, but the system from Argentina, they see the security as
optional.
Yeah, optional. And also in some companies, I mean, I know that maybe you don't have all the money to pay all the different engineers or something like that, but maybe you can hire some contractor or pay a little bit of attention. If you're a developer and create an endpoint, at least check that another person with another token can access to that element, I think. But
so in here actually is a tiny little lesson, because what this actually means is that laws and norms and standards actually really matter.
Yes.
A lot, because what you've just watched is basically what happens when you have no laws, no standards, no codes of practice, right?
Always.
And, you know, you end up with this. Well, I mean, Ignacio is lovely, but I mean, I'm just gesturing more broadly here about Argentina. Yeah, so therein actually lies a lesson for the rest of us, right? Norms matter, standards matter, laws matter.
Yes, and don't do the stuff at your home.
Yeah, right. Right, so we actually, are there any other questions? And nobody else wants to listen to my fucking ranting. Oh look, here's Thomas.
Hey, yeah.